Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Aminatun Nafisah, and today I'm so excited because we are going to talk about something quite sensitive. Yes, about the Pertamina corruption case more than just rising fuel prices. Some of you might think, it's just another corporate scandal and it doesn't really affect me. But why this is important to discuss? The first reason is a rising fuel prices. We all knows when fuel prices go up, everything else follows. And in the end, people purchasing power decreases. And the second reason is the public trust in state-owned enterprises decline. Pertamina is a government-owned company. When cases like this keep happening in our country, people start questioning whether state funds are managed properly. So that's why it's not just about corporate fraud or corporate scandal, but it has reaching economic and social. And then, how did this case start? This scandal was uncovered by financial audit revealed trillions of rupiah in misappropriated fund. Trillions, yes. Who was involved in these cases? Of course, Pertamina official and private sector actor. They worked together, manipulated the system to personal gain. And what happening now, guys? The processing are ongoing now. However, we know that legal processes in cases like this are often slow and complicated. And then most of people might think, how did they do it? So guys, there are so many ways corruption can happen, but in this case, three methods were used. The first one is a project markup. Let's say a project should cost 10 billion, but they claim 20 billion. And the second one is embezzlement. What is embezzlement? Embezzlement is the act of stealing company fund by insider like executive and employee. And the last way is a tender manipulation. Rigging the breeding is a tender manipulation. Rigging the breeding process so that a specific company will win the contract. So the next part will explain by my partner Mazro'atul Ilma.
Hi everyone, my name is Mazro'atul Ilma and I will continue to share to you about the next point of the Pertamina corruption case. So, the next is about the impact of corruption. If we talk about corruption, of course, there are so many impacts from that. Corruption is not only about how much money that they stole, but also about the responsibility, the trust, the career, and also about the law in our country. In our presentation, we show three impacts that are the most affected by corruption. The first one is the economic impact. Economy is always be the first aspect affected by corruption. With the more than 200 billion inhabitants in Indonesia and with the high rate of poverty, of course, the Pertamina corruption case makes the economic of Indonesia, especially in the fuel prices, are getting more expensive. And the second impact is about the state losses. Pertamina corruption has cost the state almost 1 quadrillion rupiah, and this is the largest and most severe state loss after the tin corruption case. And about the almost 1 quadrillion rupiah, Pertamina corruption case has a bad impact on state finances because of the massive corruption case. After we know and we feel the impact of corruption in economic aspect and how much the state losses because of that corruption, the public is also affected by corruption, which we can see on any social media after the corruption was done. Many of the Pertamina customers are moving away from using Pertamina fuel. They also show their disappointment and their mad on social media after they know about this corruption. This is the form of disappointment from many Pertamina customers. And the next is about the government response. After we know the impact of the corruption in economic aspect, how much the such losses because of this corruption, and how public affected by corruption, the government give some responses. The first one is legal action and also the system reform. On February 28, 2025, the Supreme Court sentenced the perpetrators of the Pertamina corruption case to 13 years in prison and a fine of 650 million rupiah. But it's still not fair because, as we know, the state losses almost 1 quadrillion rupiah and the fine is just 650 million rupiah. And as a citizen, of course, we need firmness from the government for corruptors. And the second response is the solutions and also the hope from the citizen to the government. The first one is transparency. We need the transparency. It's used to see how the government spending money, and also we need to see and to know the stronger oversight of government spending and contract to detect corruption and ensure the money is used properly. And the last one is the public participation. We can see in social media that many of citizens show their disappointment, show their madness to the government, especially about this case. And we, as the agent of change, we have to fight corruption and create a more transparent and accountable government. So that's all about some facts of the Pertamina corruption case that affect so many aspects in our life. And hopefully, with better oversight, stronger laws, and public pressure, we won't have to talk about another case like this again in the near future. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.